And we're live. Good morning. Good morning. Brushfire Mind. It is Firearms Friday, and what better to talk about on Firearms Friday than this vacuous twat running off at the mouth and interrupting Ted Cruz? Oh, we had a very civil conversation. No, they didn't. The truth of the matter is that in the Allysa Milano debate with Ted Cruz, where she brought two extras, betwixt her and her two mouthpieces, poor Ted just got interrupted, and he was an absolute class act. He was patient and gracious, and I mean, you come out the other end of it. Ted Cruz looks like a solid guy, and this nut job looks like, well, a nut job. So,
yeah, and I have to admit, I predicted she would back out. There's no way she could keep up with Ted Cruz.
and you were wrong.
I guess I didn't count on the fact that she would bring backup.
Now, and we'll talk about the backup she brought in a minute, but let's talk about her for just a minute. So, the whole conversation starts with her just blathering on about, oh, I'm scared for the safety of my children, and children are dying, and people are killing children. You've murdered two of your own babies. This woman, Allysa Milano, 2 abortions. I'm just worried about the safety of my children. Yeah, so am I. In direct accordance with your own personal preferences and convenience, your children have a 50% survival rate. I'm so worried about the safety and the survival of my children. Then why do you keep killing them? So an interesting statistic here is in the debate on what it takes to keep children alive and the survival of children and murdering children. It's Allysa Milano 2, Ted Cruz 0.
Ooh. Damn, son. But hey, man, she had important shit to do. She had to go make like 8 seasons of Charmed, so TBS could run it in syndication forever.
And the drugs. This is a woman who prioritized playing make-believe with her friends over the survival of her own progeny. So no, men don't get to have an opinion about what you do with your body. Okay, you don't get to have an opinion about murdering children. You froze on me. Oh, there you are. Still with me, sunshine?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And
2 abortions in 1 year. Like, she didn't figure it out after the first one?
buy a TV. And let's be clear about who we're talking about here. Here's Allysa Milano leading an anti-NRA protest. I don't think I've got it configured for the sound to come through. It doesn't really matter because we don't need to hear it. Thanks, NRA TV. I'm just borrowing this one.
You bet.
Here's what I want you to see.
Grant Stinchfield would love to talk to you, Allysa.
Did you see it? Did you see it, Cameron?
No.
Okay, there's Allysa.
Right.
Right. And this is her armed bodyguard.
Ah.
Look at that printing. Not just an armed bodyguard, but one that's bad at it.
Well, she even admitted in the debate with Ted Cruz that she has a gun in her house. But it's not one of those deadly, high-powered assault rifles, you see.
Jesus Christ. Well, what are you going to do with a 9mm against an assault rifle? I don't know. Shoot him? Return fire? We've covered this before on the show.
Yeah, don't be a victim without options.
I mean, good God, man.
Yeah, and where's the threshold? Like, okay, fine. I'll admit that it's generally accepted that a rifle has more advantages to a pistol. Okay, but what if it's like 3 pistols versus a rifle? You
A rifle
know,
doesn't have. Okay, no. A rifle is more accurate over distance. Unless we're talking about a dramatic difference in the caliber of the weapon, and an AR-15 versus an M9, you're you're talking about an M9 has a slightly larger round in a slightly smaller casing. Um, and okay, the AR-15 is going to have a faster round. It's going to hit you. It's going to punch you at a little bit higher speed. Generally, the difference between the two, though, the pistol is more maneuverable, and the rifle is more accurate over distance. That's the difference. They are two tools for different application. There's a reason most of the murders that occur with a firearm in the world are done with not an AR-15, not an AK-47. No, sir, no, sir. They're done with handguns.
yep.
Small, concealable handguns.
Yeah, and since we have to think of the children and think of the children and blah, 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 the deadliest U.S. school shooting in history, Virginia Tech, was with handguns.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, more guns is the answer. You know, 3 or 4 guys returning fire. Well, that ends the situation real quick. And besides, they banned the AR-15. Let's just say we could wave a wand. They're all gone. Poof. You still have the majority of the deaths coming from pistols. So, do they go after pistols next? I mean, blue states have already got laws in place where you're not allowed to have more than 7 rounds in your gun. High capacity magazines. And all that
Normal
garbage.
capacity magazines?
Yeah,
A standard normal 30-round magazine?
yeah. Well, I mean, even something like a Beretta 9mm. You.
You forgot the one in the chamber.
But yeah, man, did you make it through the entire debate?
Oh, the dumb debate last night?
No, 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 no.
Oh, okay. This
This
debate?
one,
No, I
yeah.
did not finish it. I couldn't take it. Once Fred Gutenberg started running his mouth, I mean, I listened to his whole thread, but good God, nobody's trying to take your guns away. Fred, you tweeted yesterday, I fully support this ban. Come on, asshole. I mean, okay, Fred Gutenberg is. His daughter was Jamie Gutenberg. She died in the Parkland shooting. Brother, I feel for you. I do. It breaks my heart. And he went on and on about how she was on the 3rd floor. That means he had to get all the way up there. He wasn't stopped before there. You know why he wasn't stopped before he got to her? Because people like you insist that people shouldn't be able to carry firearms. So there was nobody to return fire. I mean, Parkland was an anomalously bad shooting because, on top of the fact that the teachers in whose trust we place the safety and care of our children, or at least some of you guys do, I sure as hell don't. I keep my babies at home and we learn here. Instead of so okay, we homeschool. We homeschool because my options are I can keep my children at home with two brilliant parents who are both hyper polyglots, where they can learn about world culture and learn several foreign languages and study and actually learn something, or and under armed guard for their safety. Or I can send them off to a government propaganda engine where they'll be babysat by completely underdeveloped 20-somethings by a wide margin. And don't get me wrong, I had some great teachers in public school, but they were the minority. Michelle Thorne is an absolute diamond in the rough. She's 1 in a million. Mr. Duke, same, 1 in a million. But apart from the pair of them, guys, most of your public school teachers today went from a college that taught them that gender and sex are different things, went from a high school where they were being deeply indoctrinated with just barbaric misconceptions. Like, for example, that all slaves were black forever and ever, and it only happened in America. And even if nobody ever explicitly told them that, that's actually how they understand it to have occurred. To the indoctrination machine of the university, and then back to the indoctrination machine where they're instructed by a teachers union that not that the public school is the last best hope for the less fortunate, for the less adequate, but that it is the preferred option for the American citizen.
Yes, the precious, precious public school. It's funny. I'm reminded of the longer show we did some weeks back near the time of the moon landing, and before the Department of Education was founded. We were basically number 1, 2, or 3 in all categories worldwide. I mean, we had the most mathematically literate students. We had the most scientifically literate students. And then the federal government got involved. And now our public schools are a joke. I mean, they're a joke. And boy, you want to talk about the old adage of those who can't do, teach. And like Chris said, not that there are not plenty of wonderful teachers out there.
Oh no, I didn't say plenty. I said they were a rarity.
Well, they can be rare and plentiful. I mean, we're talking about tens of thousands of teachers countrywide. I think it'd be fair to say that, a good number of them are probably good people. My experience here is a little different being in Polk County because everybody knows each other. And I guarantee you at the school around the corner here, a lot of them teachers vote Republican. Like, just say it. But the system itself it's basically woefully inefficient. It caters to the bottom 50% as opposed to the top 50%. Well, you got to give the bottom 50% a chance to catch up. No, if you really want to educate them and do right by them, you need to have them learn when they're 8 that certain things in life are going to be hard for them, and they're going to have to work a little harder to keep up. God forbid they don't learn that lesson until they're 18 or 28 or 38 or never. I mean, all the socialist propaganda bullshit starts in elementary school, even with simple things like, zero tolerance toward violence. while that sounds like a beautiful idea on paper, what it really means is if you defend yourself after somebody else assaults you, you get suspended the same as the bully. It happened to my daughter last week. I don't know if I even told you about this,
No,
dude,
you
but
didn't.
yeah, no, man. She's standing in line, and some girl behind her is running her mouth saying that she's too close to her. And my daughter turns around and says, "Look, I don't know what your problem is, but I'm not doing anything." Girl keeps jawing. Destiny turns around. Oh, I was trying not to say her name. Whoops. Anyhow, my daughter turns around a second time and is like, back off. And then the girl put her hands on Destiny. And apparently Destiny grabbed her by the hair and sat her down on the ground and actually pinned her. And she got suspended, even though the other girl hit her first. So don't think for yourself. Don't take care of yourself. No. Go get your trusted government salaried administrator to come work out the problem for you.
Oh, and that's another piece of it. That with the Parkland, that's what I was getting at. With Parkland was especially bad because not only was there not an armed, competent adult immediately available to prevent the shooter from making it to the third floor, not only do you have to wait for several minutes before the police can come to intervene, assuming anyone has even called them yet. But in the Parkland case, of course, we had that coward on the ground who just decided to hide. We had that security guard on the ground that just said, "Oh." I mean, this security guard lived on the campus. They had him holed up in a house on the campus explicitly to be a security guard to prevent a situation like this, and he went full coward and just hid and didn't do what he was supposed to do. So yeah, Gutenberg's right about one thing: that shooter never should have made it to the third floor.
Yes, that is exactly right.
And I mean, Gutenberg. Okay, here's the other thing: Gutenberg went on and on in the debate, and then we need to get to the the other article. Gutenberg went on and on during that debate last night. Or not last night, the other day. How did he phrase it? When you try to make this sound like it's a Republican or a Democrat issue, you're a monster. You do a disservice to Republicans and to Democrats. Look, I'm not a partisan. I don't care who gets a solution. Really? Let's see. Here's Fred Gutenberg. Thank you, Cory Booker, for remembering you're ultimately working to defeat Trump and for giving a well-reasoned and responsible answer on healthcare. That's right. Old Freddie was live tweeting the debates last night. Julian Castro, I think your attack on Biden in comments, did you forget what you said, was a nasty comment. You're not fulfilling the legacy of Barack Obama. Thank you, Kamala, for redirecting this conversation to Trump. Did I just hear Yang correctly? Did he literally say he has a plan to buy votes? Of course he did. These leaders are doing this
Continues
for the
tonight
customers and
for who
employees.
shot a Henderson police officer in.
So, okay, there he is live tweeting the... Okay. So, obviously he's a partisan hack, which means that he's a fucking liar.
Wait, does he really have a blue check mark because his daughter died?
Yeah.
God, Twitter is trash. Oh, shame on you, Jack. Shame.
Shame on you, Fred. Fred is a hard partisan anti-gun activist whose dick got hard when his daughter was killed because it gave him ammunition to conduct the political work that he wanted to do. And I don't come by saying that lightly. I was at Heritage High School when it got shot up. So was Cameron. Yeah, you were still there, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I spent an extra year there. I sometimes forget when you graduated and when I graduated. Anyway. And I hate to say that about somebody. I really do. But I just don't see how a reasonable mind can come to a different conclusion. He's a liar. We've seen that.
A Henderson police officer is in the hospital after being shot. Officer.
I don't know what else to say about him. And then, yeah, the rest of the time they just kept interrupting Ted, and Ted was a class act. Okay, we're already spilling over our 20 minutes, so let's get to this White Hats matter.
Okay. So this is 7 weeks in a row, people. 7 weeks in a row. This is what happens when people are armed, can defend themselves, and fight back. A man trying to break into a Henderson home was shot and killed early Monday, police said. Police responded to a reported shooting at 232 Crozier Street at about 2 a.m. and found a man dead outside a window to the home. A preliminary investigation determined that the dead man, whose name hasn't been released, was trying to break in when someone inside the home shot him. The shooting remains under investigation, but no charges have been filed. Neighbors said they weren't sure what could have made the home a target for a burglary other than an empty television box sitting outside.
Okay, now, all fairness, the empty television box sitting outside, that's what we call bad OPSEC. That's bad operational security. You have leaked your protected information to the enemy, and they have exploited it.
Yeah, so you got a nice offensive sounder for me?
Oh. Yeah, buddy.
Yeah,
all right,
buddy.
That's 7 weeks in a row. And look, we don't want anybody to get hurt. We don't. We're not rejoicing in somebody having been killed. But ladies and gentlemen, dead bad guys don't do bad shit.
Dead rapists don't rape.
It's that simple. We're 3 minutes over. We've busted our time. We'll see y'all Monday morning. Wake the hell up and have a great day at work. Get there safe, and we'll see you Monday.
All right.